We are coming to you live from our studios on the John Hammond Street in Ghana's capital, Accra. Good afternoon and welcome to Weekend Central, live here on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. We are streaming across the world on Facebook at TV3 Ghana, where you can join us with your thoughts and comments. My name is Godwin Asidiba. Let's take a look at the headlines. And coming up this afternoon, some transport operators yet to effect 15% transport fare reduction, with some reducing the fares but not up to the required 15%. This afternoon, we will engage with the largest private road transport union in Ghana. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name once again is Godwin Asidiba. We begin the bulletin from here, but in the Ashanti regional capital, because some commercial drivers in Kumasi are yet to adopt the newly reduced transport fares despite the directive to take effect today. Passengers have expressed discomfort regarding that. And my colleague, William Evans Inkum, has been observing the situation at some transport terminals. William Evans Inkum is joining us via Zoom for details on the back of that. William, thank you so much for your time. Exactly what have the passengers been saying?
So it's been back and forth in terms of accusations and counter-accusations. The drivers who describe have been adamant, have been placing the blame on other things other than the reduction in the prices of fuel. So now it is up to them to reduce the prices of fares, but some are saying that, well, what about the poor road network? What about the spare parts and what have you? So they have been given avalanche of reasons why they are not reducing the fares. On the side of the passengers, the directive was that it was going to take effect today. So most of the passengers having been given to the new fares as was printed out over the week. I mean, some of them know how much they are supposed to pay, but when they enter the commercial vehicle, well, there's that kind of fierce resistance from the conductors and then the drivers. That has been the situation, especially when it comes to internal run. I'm not talking about intercity, transport. I'm talking about internal transportation. But let's listen to some of the passengers who have been sharing their frustration.
Right, so we will take a look at what some of these passengers have been sharing regarding their frustrations on these transport fares. But away from William Evans Inkum, who just spoke to us from Kumasi, some transport operators in Tamale are yet to fully comply with the directive by the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, which is a GPRTU, to reduce transport fares by 15% starting today, May 24, 2025. Some stations have only reduced by 10%, with others defying the directive by insisting they will reduce on Monday, citing late information. The drivers who reduced below the 15% threshold explained that their decision to reduce below the 15% is as a result of high prices of spare parts. Even though passengers are happy about the reduction, they want the transport owners to comply with the directive. Now, my colleague Christopher Mwako was at the Central Business District of Tamale earlier and is connecting with us on Zoom for details on this. Chris, thank you so much for your time. But first, before we connect to Chris, let's take a look at his engagement with transport operators and passengers.
The Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, announced after a series of meetings that effective today, May 24, there will be reduction in transport fares. In fact, 15% reduction in transport fares. We are here at the Central Business District of Tamale to find out if this directive is being implemented. Come with me, let's find out.
From today, we are deducting 5 cedi From Tamale to Salaga is 45 Ghana cedis.
How much were they paying?
45.
How much were they paying?
50 cedis.
Who is commuting from Tamale to Salaga? Previously, the fare was 50 Ghana cedis, and we want to find out from the passenger whether or not, when he came to the station, he actually paid 45 Ghana cedis, as said by the station officials. How much did you pay from Tamale to Salaga?
I paid 45 Ghana cedi.
45 Ghana cedis. Yes. Now, that means that a 15% reduction has been implemented.
No, here the reduction has been 10%. They have reduced the price by 10%, not 15%. Initially, it used to be 50 Ghana cedi from Tamale to Salaga. But today when we came, there have been a reduction of 5 Ghana cedi, which represent 10% of the initial fare that we used to pay.
Do you feel that there is a directive of 15% reduction, but the station has decided to use its own reduction method of 10%?
Well, there's still a little bit of relief from what we used to pay, so we still appreciate what they have done.
So let's go to other stations and find out whether or not the reduction has been implemented.
I started work around 6 o'clock, and I already said the tickets on 100 Ghana. And before I touch my ask, they say no, unless Monday, and I still be selling the 100 cedis.
Okay, so it means that in Techiman they have told you that you should wait till Monday before.
Yes, but me, I start. Okay. My first car, I cut it on 100. Okay. This second car, the same thing.
Okay. So what are your concerns? Because you don't seem to be too happy about the reduction.
So see, I didn't hear you say me feel me. So I didn't hear you say. You know, the person be at to know be a ton. But the way I didn't hear so pass na ya to book animal. Omunya butre no muti eno so mbe na bibia ye bokombe because any na higher. So nya fuel ko dey adwuma ye to pass na book animal. They say oil car the pass bibi say car tie ni nyina ne bo soro to omunya butre muti ni nyina so mbe na bibia ye di mbe. Esra ban wo hwe anu no so mbe na bibia ye bokombe.
We connect with Chris now. Chris, tell us what is accounting for other stations not willing to implement the directive.
Yes, so Godwin, two reasons. The first reason is that for some of the transport operators, they got the information only yesterday around 6 p.m. And so they will have to put things in order and know if they are reducing by the 15%, it will not affect them before they can go ahead to implement the 15% reduction. The other aspect of it is that for them, it's not only fuel prices that they are looking at to reduce their fares. They also consider spare parts, they consider ties, they consider other factors before they will be able to comply with the directive. As it stands now, some stations are even still loading the previous fares. Earlier today, there was going to be some confrontation between the passengers and the station owners, but they told them that they did not get the information on time, and so for today, they are going to load the same fares that they've been loading.
Right, Christopher Marco is our Northern Regional Correspondent. Thank you so much for your time. But let's get a little bit of insights into this. Industrial Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, Abbas Imoro, is joining us for a brief conversation on that. Sir, thank you so much for your time. Some transport operators have not reduced the fares, others have, but not up to the 15% that you have issued. For instance, old Ashongman to Accra used to be around 11 cedis, and today they charge 10 cedis. The new fare should have been 9 cedis, 35 pesos, if I should say. How do you react to this?
We made small calculations. I have to do some phone. But unless I go back to it, then I can wait through for you to get that. By then, currently, it's very difficult for you to get 5 pesos. So when we calculate and we have issues of 5 pesos, 10 pesos, at times we run it up by reducing or by increasing those pesos. So this is how we will work around it instead of going through without getting the exact persuades for us or the exact amount. We normally run it up either by adding some persuades to make it a whole sum of amount or reducing some persuades to make it a whole sum. So in most cases, you can't get the exact 15%.
All right, Imoro, can you hear me?
Hello, I'm with you. Yeah.
All right, so we know that also in the past, let's say that monitoring today, fare was not published as and done in the past where when GPRTU increased the fares in some trotro stations, they would be able to release the current amount that passengers would have to pay. I mean, why have you not been able to do the necessary calculations to ensure that drivers would have to receive a certain amount from passengers so that it wouldn't bring about confrontations here and there? Right. I mean, there's so much noise coming from his side, so we will end the interview here. We have been speaking with Abbas Imoro, who happens to be with the GPRTU. But under Ghana's 2012 road traffic regulations, which is the LI 2180, the use of motorcycles and tricycles for commercial passenger services remains prohibited. Yet, in recent years, tricycles, popularly known as pragya, have transformed public transportation in Kumasi, providing affordable and convenient mobility for commuters. Despite their illegal status, the tricycle business has become a major source of employment for many young people in the metropolis. President John Dramani Mahama, in his first State of the Nation address, hinted at plans to amend regulations to legalize commercial tricycle and motorcycle operations. Ahead of potential legalization, Tricycles Operator Association, they have stepped up engagement with their members to promote compliance and proper conduct. Ibrahim Abubakar joins us in Kumasi on these latest details on the tricycle operators. Ibrahim, thank you so much for your time. What exactly does this engagement entail, and how will it help streamline tricycle operations?
Well, Godwin, even though these tricycle operators perform most of these riders complying with road traffic regulations. You normally find them jumping red lights and driving along the corners of the road and also at the median of the road.
We sincerely apologize for the quality of our sound this afternoon. We'll definitely rework the lines and connect with Ibrahim Abubakar in subsequent bulletins. You're still tuned into Weekend Central Live here on TV3. My name is Godwin Asede. We are taking our very first break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Are you an employer looking to recruit top talent? Don't miss this chance to connect with bright and ambitious students and alumni eager to kickstart their careers at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Career Fair that will be held on the 5th and 6th of June at the KNUST Great Hall from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. Reserve your booths now to showcase your organization, network with potential candidates, and conduct interviews to select the best and the brightest. The fair offers the opportunity to meet with other employers and businesses. Sponsorship packages are available for companies looking to promote their brands. Employers can call 0322-190-741 or send an email to admin.careerservices@knust.edu.gh to reserve their booths. The deadline for company registration is 30th May 2025. Partners: KNUST Career Fair 2025. Don't miss it.
Some movies change the world, and you'll find them elsewhere. Mnet Movies 4 is just in it to change your mood. Great. Yes, I can. They turn an ordinary night into something awesome. Make you laugh louder, smile bigger, and feel like a kid all over again.
Yay! This is so much fun!
The only thing our movies are seriously serious about is making you happy. All month long. Ah! On Mnet Movies 4 for the easy, cheesy, silly, funny, snort laugh classic movies of your life.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one? Ha!
Chesena me ankasa me period na say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me kwan point no mo hwe me mogya mu no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra me enu kofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama no nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point what dance am me call you no me Johnson sema na enkoyie and person na my nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there the one nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Another season of Ghana Strongest is here, but with a twist. Are you strong enough, smart enough, brave enough to outlast them all? The ultimate Titan edition of Ghana Strongest is here for you. The reality show made for the strong, the fit. Not for the faint-hearted, not for the weak. This is the battleground of the bold. Are you a male or a female? Have you got the grit, the strength, the fire, and definitely the Titan blood? Then step into the arena, because it's more than a game. It's a test of endurance, willpower, and raw strength. This is Ghana's Strongest, the ultimate Titan edition. Join our fitness screening on the 30th of May on the premises of TV3 at 9 a.m. for 70,000 Ghana cedis worth of cash prizes at stake. Come in your fitness gear and come ready. This is not a game. This is Ghana's Strongest, the ultimate Titan edition.
Expect greatness. Expect magic. Who will be crowned the winner of Talented Kids Season 16? Is it Classical Boy? Ice Girl?
Bumble.
Insuraba? 2Gs? Kema? Who goes home with a cash prize of 20,000 Ghana cedis and an all-expense-paid educational trip to the Netherlands and the UK, powered by the CTIW Foundation? Dial star 713 star 19 hash and follow the prompts to grab your tickets.
Welcome back. I'm Godwin Asideba. We go back to our earlier story. And the Ghana's 2012 Road Traffic Regulations, which is the LI 2180, the use of motorcycles and tricycles for commercial passenger services, remains prohibited. Yet, in recent years, tricycles, popularly known as pragia, have transformed public transportation in Kumasi, providing affordable and convenient mobility for commuters. Despite their illegal status, the tricycle business has become a major source of employment for many young people in the metropolis. President John Dramani Mahama, in his first State of the Nation address, hinted at plans to amend regulations to legalize commercial tricycle and motorcycle operations. Ahead of potential legalization, tricycle operator associations have stepped up engagements with their members to promote compliance and proper conduct. Ibrahim Abubakar is joining us once again from Kumasi on this. Ibrahim, thank you so much for your time and thank you for staying again. What exactly does this engagement entail and how will it help streamline tricycle operations?
Well, even though these tricycles play a critical role when it comes to the transportation sector, especially within Kumasi, I'll say Greater Kumasi, there has been a lot of concern with regards to riders' compliance to traffic road regulations. Most of them often jump red lights, drive on the shoulders of the road, and even in the middle of the road. And they have been a source of accident to a lot of the road accident cases we have been recording. Now, with government intention to regulate the activities, it means that the leadership will have to sensitize their members to the road regulation or traffic regulation compliance. You often find people within the age bracket of 15, 16 riding some of these tricycles, and it is illegal. And even in the laws, for you to be able to drive a commercial vehicle or even some of these tricycles, you must be able to attain the age of 18 and beyond. And that is why the leadership have decided to step in, sensitize their members, ensure that most of them will get the needed license before these laws will even be passed for the regulation to take effect. So this afternoon and the days to come, they are moving from joint to joint, educating them on the need, one, to acquire licenses, two, to ensure that people or people who are within the age bracket of 17 and below will not be allowed to be riding these regulations. They are happy that government is at the end of the day regulating the activities, but the assurance they are also giving is that they will make sure that they comply with all the road safety regulations to make sure they provide the necessary transportation service and also make our road very, very safe. I engaged with some of the leadership earlier, and let's listen to what they have been telling their members.
It's about the need to get license and also the need to be part of the bigger union so that it will become easier for the government to regulate our activities. It can also help us to be able to track those who will be recalcitrant among us and would like to use the tricycles for bad intentions. We also take opportunity to thank His Excellency the President for this bold initiative that he has taken. We are also calling on people not to politicize this because we are aware that there are even people in NDC that are even against this legalization. But the government is very committed to doing it, and we are also going to give them the assurance that we will not disappoint the government.
We have underage among tricycle riders, which is not good or it's not appropriate for underage to ride. And we also have a certain age that you are supposed to reach before you can operate as a commercial rider, which is 21. So it's all about you coming together to do the right thing. And we have gotten a good government that want to help us achieve it.
Ibrahim, it's good to know that they are willing to comply, but the National Road Safety Authority is also involved in this exercise. What key messages are they sharing with the operators?
You know, one of the core mandates of the National Road Safety Authorities is to ensure that the road is sanitized and people comply with the road safety regulations so that accidents will be minimized. That is how come they are also involved. They are saying that once people are using this tricycle for economic gains, they must sure that they drive safely and make sure that we are able to sanitize our road. So they are also part of the engagement. They are also educating the drivers on the need to be road safety compliant. Let's listen to what the planning officer, Samuel Jima, has also been sharing.
We are always looking out for people's safety, regardless of whatever economic activity they are engaging in. If you must use the road, we are advocating that you use it safely. Of course, the challenge that we have had with tricycles over the years is something that we are all looking at to holistically put those chaos that we used to see behind us. If you must ride safely. Always obey traffic regulations. Make sure you're not riding on the shoulder of the road. The middle of the road is not meant for tricycles, pagia, motorcycle, and the rest. We are saying that if people are going to ride to help the economy, they should ride safely. That is the point National Safety Authority wants to put across.
Right, Ibrahim Abubakar, thank you so much for bringing us to speed with these tricycle operators and how they are also willing to comply with the National Road Safety Authority to ensure that they are registered and also to get them moving professionally on the streets. But away from that, we talk illegal mining now. The Catholic Bishops' Conference has revived calls for the government to show more commitment in the fight against illegal mining, otherwise known as Galamsey, in Ghana, by declaring a state of emergency in targeted areas affected by the menace. At a meeting with the President, John Dramani Mahama, at the Jubilee House, the bishops are demanding a repeal of the Mining and Minerals Act that permits mining in forest reserves and on water bodies. President John Dramani Mahama is meanwhile assuring the bishops that the efforts of government in tackling the menace will yield results.
Your Excellency, we propose the following, and we are ready to back you up in all ways to arrest this menace. Repeal of permissive legal instruments. Audit and repeal legislative instruments enabling unchecked licensing under the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, and associated legislative instruments. Immediate freeze on new artisanal and small-scale mining licenses until a full review of environmental and social impact is completed. We believe there should be targeted state of emergency. Declare, Your Excellency, a limited state of emergency in all the affected zones to suspend all mining activities temporarily. Deploy military engineering units for reclamation. Restore lawful local governance and other centralized oversight. Establish district-level mining task forces with civil society and church observers to monitor local operations.
But currently, the statistics we have is 16% of our forest reserves have been destroyed and encroached upon. It will need both reclamation and rehabilitation of the forest. And we are intending to do that under the carbon credit system, because if you reclaim mined lands and you restore forests, you can claim it under carbon credits. And that will give us more money to reclaim some more of the forest. And then if you want it in hectares, almost equivalent of 5,000 hectares, actually 4,726 hectares of forest have been destroyed by illegal mining. Like I said,
let's get a reaction on this. Ula Sewa, as the founder and coordinator of Eco-Conscious Citizens. Thank you so much for your time. The Catholic Bishops' Conference call is something your group and others have been demanding for in years. How do you react to this?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. We are very happy with this. We commend the Catholic Bishops' Conference, but we want to add that in addition to the demand they have made, this should be followed up until we see the results, so that when they go to church tomorrow, we'd expect their congregation to hear about this, to hear about how the pristine, beautiful environment God has given us is being poisoned and destroyed, and how we must all be concerned enough about what is going on to add our voices. And may I also add that the president talked about carbon sinks. That's the more reason why EI 144, which declassifies parts of Achimota forest, should immediately be revoked so that we'll have more forests. But I don't think we should be waiting for carbon credits to act. The Catholic Bishops' Conference has spoken, other organizations have spoken. Immediately declare a state of emergency. We are on the verge of a catastrophe. Time is running out. Immediately revoke, not amend, LI 2462 and also EI 144, which declassified parts of Achimota forest. And might I add that I do remember when President Akufo-Addo was with the Catholic Bishops' Conference a few years ago, where they raised the matter of Akunta mining, destroying or purportedly destroying parts of the Tano Rimiri Forest Reserve, and the president assured us that that was not taking place. We have now found out that it did take place and that according to the Minerals Commission, they don't even have a license.
Right. The president is yet to speak on whether his administration has reversed the policy of only reporting foreigners engaged in illegal mining. Does that surprise you?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Right. So I was saying that we know that the president has been engaging with them and he is yet to speak on whether his administration has reversed the policy of only reporting foreigners engaged in the illegal mining activities. Does this come as a surprise to you?
Not really, but we have made our voices heard. We have said that that's discriminatory and that everybody engaged in illegal mining should be dealt with from the top to the bottom. But we, as a matter of urgency, are calling on the president to immediately declare a state of emergency. You see, apart from the poisoning of our water bodies and destruction of the forest reserves, leading to a rise in kidney disease, cancers, maternal deaths, deformed babies, and food security concerns, because we don't know where the food we are eating is coming from. So if those outside the Galamsey belt think they are safe, they should think again. Recently, some tubers sent to the US were found to contain mercury. Even the water we drink, even when it's colorless, it doesn't mean that it's safe. So what I'm saying is that there are urgent things. The president has revoked the e-levy. He revoked the betting tax. I know many people are happy about that. But you see, these did not cause an existential threat. It did not cause an existential threat. But the poisoning of our water bodies and the destruction of our forest reserves, the ecocide, is causing an environmental threat. Building on our waterways and on our Ramsar sites.
Right.
It's been reported. Yes, it's also causing an existential threat. And that is what the president, we urge His Excellency to immediately deal with, because if he doesn't, we will all perish.
Yeah, we are clearly aware about the risks involved, but what does this say about his government's fight against illegal mining?
Well, what we'll say is that we don't want to act as if we don't appreciate anything the president is doing. We are. But what we are saying is that it's not as robust as it can be. For example, LI 2462 is a low-hanging fruit. He could easily have revoked it by bringing it before Parliament. Even the previous administration, under whose watch this perverse piece of legislation was passed, was about to revoke it. But what the president put before Parliament, contrary to what we were told, was an amendment, not a revocation. So it doesn't show urgency in dealing with this problem. So we commend him for what has been done so far. But we are urging him, if he wants to avert the catastrophe we are facing, to immediately, as soon as Parliament returns, put before them a revocation of LI 2462, not an amendment. Also revoke EI 144, which is an executive instrument we can do without Parliament. That is the executive instrument that declassifies parts of Achimota forest. And immediately, as the Catholic Bishops' Conference, the CSOs, organized labor, so many organizations have told him, declare a state of emergency targeted to our forest reserves and water bodies.
Right.
Because time is running out. The house is burning.
Absolutely. Passionate about the topic as usual, Awula Sewa is the founder and coordinator of Eco-Conscious Citizens. Away from that, the Jase Hene of Apinto Nana Dr. Dakwa Bediako III has urged mining firms operating in the Takwa Nsuanya municipality to prioritize the reclamation and repurposing of mined lands for agriculture. In a related development, Deputy CEO of COCOBOD, Ato Boateng, has emphasized COCOBOD's focus on revitalizing the cocoa sector and enhancing farmers' livelihoods under its current leadership. My colleague Erama Smith has more.
The appeal by the Jasehene of Apinto, Nana Dr. Daku Bediako III, comes as cocoa plantations continue to be vulnerable to Galamsey activities, especially in the western region. Many farmers have already kowtowed to the attractions of Galamsey, whilst those who have remained are challenged with low yields due to poor quality of soil and diseased trees. Nana Dr. Daku Bediako, who was co-chairing the launch of Go Fuels Ghana's Cocoa Farmer Support Program to help 300 cocoa farmers with inputs, called on them to also help with the reclamation of mined lands.
As Go Fuels, I think Go Fuels as an organization have done very well for communities. And I think this is another direction that they can take. And as part of supporting cocoa, to actually help the country by helping in reclaiming the lands. They can use it for their communities. There are serious cocoa communities around Go Fuels here. The Unesu, the Pepesa, the Wangra Chrome, the Dukro, they all have cocoa farms there. They can, wherever in these areas that cocoa land has been used for, and I'm saying they can help to reclaim them. I think that, as one of the presenters said, cocoa and gold can live together. Should not be something that should take over the other one.
A farmer talked about the challenges they are facing from Galamsey.
For the Galamsey issue is something which is worrying. We are all, trying to see or trying to do our best to see how the government or Go Fuels Ghana will also help so that, to stop this Galamsey issue.
At least 300 cocoa farmers are said to benefit from COCOBOD approved fertilizers, pesticides, training in best farming practices and agroforestry techniques to promote sustainable cocoa cultivation. Deputy CEO of COCOBOD, Ato Boateng, who was happy with Go Fuels Ghana's Cocoa Farmer Support Program, said it aligns with COCOBOD's renewed focus under its current leadership to revitalize the cocoa sector and improve farmers' livelihoods.
3 things government is doing. First one, we want to increase our yields through, implementing high quality and good agronomical practices, which is what Go Fuels is doing with you. The second pillar is to do a lot of rehabilitation of our moribund and diseased cocoa trees, and then also reclaim a lot of the lands that we've lost to Galamsey. The project has already started. We are working with the World Bank on a number of rehabilitation projects, and COCOBOD itself is going to commit funds into supporting the rehabilitation to increase our cocoa output.
Erama Smith, TV3 News, Takwa.
Private legal practitioner Martin Pegbu says the conduct of the former Attorney General Godfrey Dame in the ambulance purchase trial is a clear exhibition of an unethical conduct. A Ghanaian citizen, Daniel Kwame Ofosu-Appiah, has petitioned the General Legal Counsel accusing former Attorney General and Minister for Justice Godfrey Dame of professional misconduct in relation to the ambulance trial of Dr. Cassiola Toforsen and others. Speaking on TV3's Key Points, Martin Pegbu explained that irrespective of the outcome of the investigations, Godfrey Dame has clearly breached the ethics of the profession.
As a society, we were very clear at the time that, look, the Attorney General had breached the rules of ethics, all right? And his statements in the tape just sought to destroy the justice system. Yeah, that much, it was clear. And let's be very clear about this. Look, it doesn't even matter the outcome of the General Legal Counsel, okay, investigations to this matter, right? The fact remains that as citizens, we all heard what Godfrey Dame stated in that tape. And those statements are unethical. Yes, the General Legal Council can give a different opinion on it. They can say, look, they don't find it unethical. That doesn't mean that as citizens, we cannot continue to say that is unethical. We are also allowed to pass judgment. We heard it. What we heard is not anything that should be allowed in a thriving democracy such as ours.
Meanwhile, the Director of Legal Service of the National Democratic Congress, Edugyi Tamaklo, has explained that it took 1 year for the former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfred Dame to be reported to the General Legal Council for discipline because he was untouchable at the time of the incident.
Godfred was untouchable, regardless of him being Attorney General. Godfred, from 2021 to 2024, was simply untouchable. Look, even at the Bar Council, I'll tell you this. The last Bar Conference, when the Bar Council met, and the question was whether or not Godfred should go to the Bar Conference in Kumasi. The Bar Council itself, even at the GBA, were divided. In fact, some of the Bar Council members said no, he needed to apologize as the leader of the bar. What happened relative to the Richard Jakpa matter had brought so much opprobrium, public ridicule, to the entire work of lawyers, and that it offends specific rules of engagement. Because at the time when he had engaged Richard Jakpa was engaged to lawyer Tadiosori. A represented person, the Attorney General or a prosecutor, should not be dealing directly with it. So it's a clear breach of the rules of engagement. So some Bar Council members raised it that in view of this, they would not allow him to come and deliver a speech at the Bar Conference. There was a split at the Bar Council, where some senior, I don't want to mention their name, said no, you know, this one, they should, you know, find a way to work it out. I'm just telling you that within that period, Godfred was simply untouchable.
You're still tuning to Weekend Central Live here on TV3. My name is Godwin Atsideba. We are taking a second break. We'll be back shortly. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back from the break. Here in the capital, Accra, the Lankwantanang Madina Municipal Assembly is this afternoon on inspection through cautioning traders to vacate trading on the street ahead of its decongestion exercise to rid the Madina Zango Junction of hawkers and to bring sanity to the area. Let's touch base with my colleague Armstrong Gold Alogbe, who is monitoring the exercise and is joining me with details. Armstrong, thank you for your time. When will this decongestion exercise take place?
The Madina Zango Junction to precise what the Municipal Assembly is embarking on some inspections. We can decongest area of in the central led by the Assembly. So here with me is the MC for the Lankwantanang Municipal Assembly who has been doing the one person. And then let me say that in the visit here at the Madina Zango Junction, the food bridge has been taken about fully the traders and the budget of our range. We are doing where you want to have footpath to work on, and also the bridge here, people are not using it, they prefer to cross over, and you can see the security personnel here who are often having a very tough time to control them. Turn up from the MC now.
Right, Armstrong, it will be really appealing if you could focus your video on everyone, because the focus is only on you at the moment, but we need to know exactly what is happening around the area.
What is happening here now is this orange station here. So the video is seen now is the main street of Zango Junction where people have decided to encroach. So vehicles have to now struggle their way to go into the main market, maybe go to the police station, and that is the scene here. The situation here now is for the interior to see how it's going to clear everybody from the street up to see. You are starting to see that means some of the change commanders here, either the divisional commander in temperature, we have to also from the fire service, and also that of the chief of the attendant, and then to put the task force coming together to ensure that from next week they are to clear the whole street of this thing. So you can see also the president has been taking over the traders who have
Right, my colleague Armstrong Gold Alogbe there will definitely connect with him subsequently, as the sound is quite terrible. We apologize for that. But we focus on health stories now, because health authorities in the Western North region have confirmed an outbreak of Mpox following a positive test result from a suspected case in the Uawen municipality. The confirmation came from the National Public Health Reference Laboratory on Thursday, May 23, 2025. In response to the development, the Regional Health Directorate has issued an alert to all health districts and facilities in the region, urging them to remain on a high alert and intensify surveillance for Mpox and other epidemic-prone diseases. According to a statement signed by Dr. Kingsley Osei Kwachi, Deputy Director of Public Health, frontline health workers are advised to strictly observe infection prevention and control IPC protocols whilst managing patients. The Health Directorate reassures the public of its commitment to managing the situation effectively and urge the public to report symptoms promptly, avoid close contact with infected persons or animals, and maintain good hygiene practices. Report when you start to experience the symptoms or when you know someone else who is also going through such a situation. Away from that, the collapse of a 2-unit classroom block has further worsened inadequate infrastructure at the Presbyterian Senior High School in Suhum in the Eastern region. First-year students are likely to be heavily impacted when they report to school in the coming days.
Established 31 years ago in the heart of Suhum, the Presbyterian Senior High School in the Eastern region has long battled infrastructure challenges. The introduction of the double-track system under the Free Senior High School policy led to increased enrollment further compounding the problem. Now, with the collapse of classrooms, the deterioration of the fence wall, and multiple stored infrastructure projects, school management is overwhelmed and struggling to cope. The headmaster of the school, Edwin Odami Amwa, hopes assistance comes in soon.
We have inadequate guest dormitory and then inadequate classroom for the students. 2-unit classroom block was damaged, and under it at that time we were having classes. The main block to the guest dormitory was also affected, and it is making the place so porous and allowing some guests to run to town at all times. Their safety we cannot guarantee, and that is done now. By next week, the Form 1s will be coming. The challenge of having a place for them to learn will be very difficult.
Classrooms maybe seemed to be small, but it was of good use when it was available. And since it's no longer available, some students had to move out, and so we need the government to come to our aid in fixing it, and if they could, giving us more infrastructures as well.
The school currently has a total student enrollment of 3,376. Despite its challenges, it recorded a 75% pass rate in last year's West African Senior High School certificate examination. The chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education, Peter Nochukotoy, in his visit to the Eastern region acknowledged senior high schools need urgent infrastructure support to address deficit gaps and phase out the double-track system.
So we want to urge government to put resources into completing most of the projects or all of them at the senior high school level, so that our children can have enough classrooms, dormitories, science lab, assembly halls that are all scattered in there.
Diabetes remains a growing health concern as the rate surge in Ghana affecting over 2.4 million people with 200,000 new cases reported yearly. In an effort to create awareness about the disease, the Ama Buzia Memorial Foundation is stepping up efforts to combat the disease.
At a solemn ceremony in Wenchi, Bono region, to honor the late Obapeyin Nana Ama Bami Buzia, the Buzia family launched the Ama Buzia Memorial Foundation, a not-for-profit organization committed to combating diabetes through research, education, and supporting the career growth of underprivileged youth in the Wenchi municipality. Partnering with local and international organizations, it aims to improve diabetes care while offering scholarship and mentorship programs.
This anniversary is not a moment of sorrow. It is an opportunity to come together and celebrate her life. To preserve her legacy, the Buzia family is launching the Ama Buzia Memorial Foundation today. The beneficiaries are citizens of Wenchi. The foundation envisions a world where underprivileged youth have access to vital information about chronic diseases such as diabetes. We will strive to eliminate health disparities in Wenchi by fostering communities that champion health, education, promote preventive care, and inspire resilience. The foundation also aspires to assist selected youth endowed with academic brilliance, but with no adequate resources to pursue higher education.
Chief Executive Officer of the Wenchi Methodist Hospital, Alexander Kokuche, intimated that the health facility will collaborate with the foundation to uphold her vision in the fight against diabetes.
By equipping us, we do education, the hospital does health education and all this. But the foundation is coming to supplement what we are doing, coming to complement what we are doing. So with many hands on board, then we think the fight against chronic conditions, including diabetes, it becomes easier for all of us to fight. The load becomes lighter because there are many hands on board now.
And before we wrap up, please note that on Wednesday, May 28, 2025, Hooked on Red will be premiering at exactly 9 p.m. Do make some time to watch to know how the red opioid is eating into the lives of many, even in the remotest parts of the country. My name is Godwin Asideba. Glad you've made some time to join me here on Weekend Central. I'll see you tomorrow as well. Do stay tuned in and enjoy the rest of our programming. Bye.